Welcome to Centro Comercial Alto Tecnológica. That's where you can get your phone fixed, laptop fixed, or you can buy used cell phones, used computers, video games, all that good stuff. I'm here with my girlfriend. She's getting her phone fixed. We're looking for a phone case while it's getting fixed at the moment. But we'll be talking about the logistics of Bartolinas, the jail cell in El Salvador, the bathroom situation, the shower situation, the food situation, and the sleeping situation, your day-to-day logistics in a jail cell. And to give you a rough idea of what it looks like, it's about 10 feet in width, and then probably about 25 to 30 feet in length, and the last 5 feet in length are used for the bathroom. And the bathroom can be split up into 2 toilets, as well as a shower, which takes up the most of the space. And right next to the shower and across from the toilets are the water well. The water well is only filled up a few times a day because water's not available 24/7 in the jail. It's at the guards' disposal, but generally the jail cell members ask the guards for water about 3 times a day. Once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and again once at night, to make sure we have water to flush for everyone going to the bathroom in the morning or at night. And the shower situation is that you don't usually take a shower unless the guards are filling up your water, so that you can use as much water, and then when the water well fills up, you can then ask the guards to shut off the water, so that everyone has a chance to take a shower without it using all the water that you need for the rest of the night. So that's the last 5 feet in length for the jail cell. Used for the bathroom, 2 toilets side by side. One of them didn't happen to be working, and the toilets don't flush or have a button to flush. I don't understand how this works, but you just dump a bucket of water into the toilet, and the toilet somehow will flush when it's not some sensor or anything. It must be some sort of some physics involved in it. I couldn't explain it. It's actually probably the most interesting part of the jail cell to me, is that with enough water and enough force from dumping the water, it'll start the flushing of the toilet, which is crazy to me. But yeah, that's the jail cell. About 4 people can sleep in there, and people do sleep in there because the jail cell does get packed. So what ends up happening is that 2 tall people can sleep where the water well is and have their feet at the feet of the toilet, and then 2 shorter people can sleep where the shower starts. There's like this little curb that stops the water from getting out of the shower, and they use clothes to kind of pad that curb and make it as a makeshift pillow. During my time there was a maximum of 23 people at one point in time, and with that, there ended up being 5 people in the bathroom having to sleep. And with that setup, what I ended up seeing, this was actually in my last few days, but what I ended up seeing for that situation was 4 people would be sleeping and the 5th person would be sitting on the toilet for half of the night, and then they'd swap out with another person for the second half of the night, which is just kind of fucked up, you know, like, even though we're in jail, possibly because the police believed we did wrong, we are innocent until proven guilty. That is something similar in El Salvador. But you know, we still are human, and I believe that we deserve somewhere to sleep and space to sleep. And you know, sleeping on the floor, sure, it's a third world country, I can understand that, but not having space to sleep and having someone sit up all night and then switch out with someone else that is on the floor to sleep, I think that's kind of fucked up. And I think if the United Nations or Red Cross Committee were aware of this, I'm pretty sure some things would change. ¿Todo bien? ¿Todo bien? And yeah, yes, para. Okay, claro. Yeah, I believe everyone should deserve space to sleep, space to stretch out their legs, space to serve their time, is what I'm trying to get at. And so that's 5 people in the bathroom being able to sleep. And then in the main area, where it's 20 to 25 feet in length and 10 feet in width, people would have their heads to the wall on the right side and on the left side, right? So you double the capacity, and when you lay down, because it's 10 feet in length or in width, almost certainly your feet are going to collide with the person in the opposite direction of you, and this caused a little bit of turmoil for some of the people in jail. You'd wake up to people yelling at each other, saying, "This is my space," blah blah blah, puta, something something, you know. That's just kind of how it goes. People are grumpy. People want to stretch out their legs, and not being able to when you're sleepy is gonna bring out some grumpy folks, grumpy attitudes, and that's just the width, right? So in length, you can fit at most 9 people. 9 people shoulder to shoulder, and sometimes you'd have to sleep like this to where your shoulders aren't touching, so that the guy next to you can have his shoulders or elbows down, depending on how big that person is. 9 people. So if you do the math, that's 18 people in the first half of the room, or the main part of the room, and then having 5 people, like I mentioned, 23 at one point in time, is a little much. I think 22 is probably the max you could do. And yeah, even having 9 by 9 in that first room is just way too much. It's just way too hot. You can feel your body sweating as you sleep, and you just sweat through the night, hoping that, you know, the guards open up the main gate so that the air conditioning from their office comes in. And most of the time at midnight they would open up that main gate, and depending on the guard, it would be open throughout the night. You know, there'd be some guards that are just dicks that would shut it completely, and that sucks when there's a lot of people and everybody's talking. It doesn't help that there's no ventilation. The only real ventilation you get is from the bathroom. There's 2 cutouts, but they're not even full cutouts. They're cut out, and then there happens to be a sliver open to the back of the jail, with a pillar in front of it so that you can't squeeze out through that. So you can imagine a square followed by a pillar, followed by another square, and behind that pillar is an opening for for air to flow into, and that's all the fresh air you get, other than from when the main gate is closed. The food situation actually happens to be the best food I've ever had in any jail. I've happened to experience jail in 3 different countries, and by far the food in the El Salvador jail is the best. And that's only because it's not for free. You have to pay for the food there. You have to pay for everything there. You have to pay for your clothes there. You have to pay for your toilet paper, your soap, your toothbrush, your toothpaste. Everything is either bought or provided by your family. And that sounds crazy for people that have been in jail or know anything about jail. Like, it kind of sounds like it's set up to be a scam so that police can capture people, arrest people, and bring them in, and like whatever, they go to Costco, buy all their stuff, all the toilet paper, and charge people however much they want. I don't know how much it cost because I didn't pay for any of it, which ended up sucking. I didn't ever end up having food. The embassy did come through for me and provide toilet paper, toothbrush, and toothpaste and soap. But without that, I would have had nothing. But the people in the jail, they will have your back. People in Senda Tres, they made sure I was eating. Not just me, it was for anyone that didn't have a plate served, because when food comes out, it has your name on it. So they call out your name, and that's how you get your food. And every time we'd get finished passing out the food, the people in the jail cell would check who's missing food. I was always missing food because I was there longer than most people. I ended up being probably the 3rd person with the most time there. And I never got food, so they always knew that, okay, Chino necesito food. And you'd get a little bit of rice from one person, you'd get a little bit of beans from one person, another person would give you some of their beans, and then you'd get maybe some person not wanting their protein. There was some people that just had higher taste that wasn't going to eat the food, and that ended up working out well as people that ended up getting out of jail early. They would still have their food delivered to the jail cell, and you kind of have to remember their names so that you get their food. And for the new people, this ended up working out real well for them too, so that they could get food while they wait for their families to prepare their packets of toilet paper, soap, toothbrush, and their 3 meals a day, right? So I'm super grateful for Senda Tres, the culture in there. Frog in my throat as I think about them. But yeah, they take care of you. They're good people. Despite not having experienced the country, having connected with those people has left a really good impression on me about the country and its culture. Not everyone you can trust there, but for the most part, you can understand that we're all in the same situation, and maybe justified or unjustified, while we're here, let's make the most of it. And you definitely start to make a second family with them. And it was despite being there 18 days and having all charges dropped, that was still a good experience for me, and I'm still grateful to have gone through that, to be able to have some camaraderie, to have some brotherhood. Super grateful for Senda Tres, and I hope they continue to keep that culture. The people that overlap there, I hope they learn and they teach the newcomers the culture of it. And yeah, it's not all that bad. Even in the shittiest situation, there is some good. You know, there's laughs to be had. There's meals to be shared. Cultures to be learned. So yeah, it was a good experience in a very grim and dark situation. So what have I explained? I've explained the food, I've explained the bathroom, I've explained the water, I've explained the toilets, I've explained the sleeping. So you kind of got an idea of what it takes to get through a day in Bartolinas. You get 3 meals a day, you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And there are 2 church services. One in between breakfast and lunch, and one in between lunch and dinner. One in the late morning and one in the early afternoon. And that, you know, and then the time in between, you're kind of taking naps, waiting for the time to pass. Other than that, you do have a daily scrub of the jail cell around. I don't remember if it's before or after the early afternoon church service, but essentially all the guys get together. They water down the floors and they water down the floors and scrub the floors and walls with bleach. And after that, you have to obviously squeegee the water out of the jail so that it dries, and then you're now towel drying or like air drying with a towel the floor and the walls. And after that, everybody takes a shower because everybody's sweating from cleaning. And I believe church service happens next. I don't really remember it. I've forgotten a little bit. It's been a week now. But yeah, that's a day-to-day in Bartolinas. My girlfriend's phone is ready. We're gonna get that. She found her phone case, and we're gonna go and buy that. And then stay tuned for the next video where I talk about the different jail cells, right? There's 3 jail cells for guys and 1 for women. And we'll speak about the interactions in that. And me actually connecting with the people, interacting with them, and them learning about me learning about them, and yeah, having good times. Stay tuned. Thanks.